Hello and welcome back to another video. This problem we're calculating the derivative of q at 0 using the method of exercise 55, which means we are going to set the numerator equal to f of x and the denominator equal to g of x. Make sure it's clear that that's a negative. And okay, the reason we're doing this is because it's easier to find f and g of 0 and f prime and g prime of 0 than to calculate the whole thing. And then when we have those values, we can go back and we can plug them in using the quotient rule, because q of x is equal to f of x over g of x, given the definitions we just created, so we can find the derivative more easily. But first of all, we're going to need f of 0, which just plugging in for x and 0, we have 1 plus 0 plus 0 squared plus 0 e to the 0 is 1 plus 0 is 1 plus 0 times e to the 0. E to the 0 is 1, so this is 0 times 1, which is just 0. So this is really just 1 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0, whatever. So this is 1. G of 0, we have 1 minus 0 plus 0 squared minus 0 e to the 0. Similar thing, we have 1 minus 0 plus 0 minus 0. None of those zeros change anything, so g of 0 is just 1. F prime of x, the derivative of x, or the derivative of f, sorry, is going to be the derivative of 1 is 0, plus the derivative of x is 1. Since it's a linear term, its derivative is just its coefficient. Plus, we have a power function here, so we bring down the exponent. And then your new exponent is the old one minus 1, plus we have x times e to the x here, so we're actually going to calculate the derivative of this up here, since we're going to have to do it twice anyways. We can might as well just calculate it once. This is equal to, we have the two things multiplied by each other, so we do the power or the product rule. So it's the first times the derivative of the second plus the second times the derivative of the first. So this is equal to x. The derivative of e to the x is e to the x plus e to the x times the derivative of x. As we just saw, since it's a linear term, the derivative is just the coefficient, which for x is 1. So the derivative of this is x e to the x plus e to the x. So we have for f prime of 0, we have 0 plus 1 is 1 plus 2. Plugging in 0 for x, we have 0 to the 2 minus 1, which is just 1, so 0 to the first power, plus 0 e to the 0 plus e to the 0. So we have 1 plus 0 times something, so plus 0 again, so these both don't matter, plus e to the 0 is 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. Now the last thing we need to calculate is the derivative of g, which is going to be a similar thing. We have 1, its derivative is 0, minus the derivative of x, so minus 1, since again it's just its coefficient, plus the derivative of x squared, we just found is 2x to the 2 minus 1, so plus 2x, and then x to the 2 minus 1 is just x to the first power, which is x, so we can leave that as is, and then minus the derivative of this, which is this. So minus x e to the x minus e to the x. So g prime of 0 is equal to 0 minus 1 is negative 1 plus 2 times 0, plugging in 0 for x, minus 0 e to the 0 minus e to the 0, and this is equal to negative 1 plus 0 minus 0 times 1 is minus 0 minus e to the 0 is minus 1, and this is negative 2. Now, why did we go through all of this instead of just calculating the derivative outright? Because now, when we find the derivative of q, this is equal to the denominator times the derivative of the numerator minus the numerator times the derivative of the denominator over the denominator squared. Over the denominator squared, make sure that's the denominator and not the derivative of the denominator. It's just plain old g of x. So, making sure this is clearly marked, we are actually looking to find it when x is 0, so q prime of 0 is equal to g of 0, f prime of 0 minus f of 0, g prime of 0 over g of 0 squared. Just plugging in 0 from this equation and putting it into there. So now you can see why this is so much easier than if we were to take the derivative of this normally. G of 0 is 1, f prime of 0 is 2, minus f of 0 is 1, g prime of 0 is negative 2, over g of 0 is 1 squared. So this is 2 times 1 is 2, minus 1 times minus 2 is plus 2, and this is divided by 1, so you don't even have to write that. And 2 plus 2 is 4, which is q prime of 0. Move that over so you can see it. That is your final answer. As always, thank you for liking and subscribing, and we'll see you in the next video.